Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for end of the week, week 42, day number 5. It is Friday, October 21st, 2016. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. To support your knowledge of the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, end of the week. Let's get right into the charts here for today. See what's ahead for next week. If this is your first time watching the video, 15 minutes of focused right to the indices and a couple of commodities, and see where market technically is in a momentum trend. Again, not indicative of where price action may be on any given day. Always need to be ready in both directions and have a solid trading plan, as already shared there. All right, let's get into the results here. Scroll all the way up to the daily results and weekly results. There they are. Obviously, each number varying for each individual trader based on their exit or live, but there it is. 25 setups for the week. Focused, precise setups. Balanced through the NQ and ES. Again, not much on the YM focus this week. They're the daily stats for the day. Take a look at the NQ. Consolidation on the big 4-hour chart continues with a nice uptrend today. No major econ data today out, and earnings seasons. That's what is rolling through right now. All right, let's get into the NQ. As we saw price action on the NQ, again, we're looking for at least the core setup, which is the top chart to be in trend. That means below the 5144 and below the T350. Price action sets itself up under the T310. You got solid Heikin Ashi bars, and you got lots of charts in sync to the downside. If they're all in the same color, that means we're in trend. And there it was, setup number 1 for the AM session, and then a nice little pop-up back upside to wrap up that morning session. Not much to speak of in the afternoon. Here's the chart of interest as price action came down. Looking for the low, you'll notice the AD line, one of the market internals we watch every day. There it was to the extreme negative 90, a number that the AD line usually finds resistance as and fades off of. And sure enough, price action bounced right back up above and never looked back. So again, nice exit when we talk about extremes to bail out as soon as it hit 90, or hey, you never know what's going to happen. You bail out on the crossover of the T310. So there was the beautiful setup to the downside. Setup number 2, I wanted to point out again, very risky, as you just never know what's going to happen on pullbacks. You saw the resistance here at the cloud, and the NQ price action comes down. My recommendation at that point was to take off your contracts a little bit sooner, as the slope of the T310 had not changed. So you try to go for it. You put the risk on of taking the entry here as it is, but you come off a little bit sooner, and that would be the kind of setup you would be looking for, to not have your contracts run the entire distance. But surely you should have a stop in play as well. All right, I wanted to bring out a chart that I posted here at the end of the day, something we've been watching now here for a couple days. Veteran trader in our room did a wonderful did a wonderful presentation that's now been posted in the on my YouTube video channel. I'll show you where you can find it at the end of the recap here. But as we watch the order flow as presented this week, to those that attended that already, you'll see that first setup on the NQ to the downside. There it was, entry below the T310. You got, again, this is a modified chart of the Flex Renko, but there's the 5144, the T350, and the T310. As we saw on the first chart, you don't have all the charts below, but again, same identification of trend here on the HA candles. But what's beautiful about this, and when we put it all together, you see on the 1-minute chart here, the buyer exhaustion as presented in that webinar. There it is on the 1-minute chart. Price action starts to come down here, and there's your selling pressure there, indicative of the charts below here. Again, the charts above are the number bars. Again, a little bit seller absorption here. We could see that reflective in the HA bar that comes up. But again, that's not, as I read it, It's just another market internal to show evidence that price action is continuing downside and to hold on and to hold on. Again, we saw that the AD line, that's right, go back a chart to the AD line. It was 2 charts ago, found resistance here. And sure enough, there it was. There was the pressure where price action got absorbed down here and turned itself around. So the combination of the market internals, again, in just another supplementary way, if you need to keep you in the trend, what we could see here forward as we moved with this indicator or chart is, for instance, on the crude and the gold, where each day we don't have the luxury of the AD line, we don't have the luxury of the tick count. This might be a wonderful supplement to those HA bars together with the cloud and the order flow that you see here on the study. So thank you so much this week to our trader in the room, Mike, and we hope to find some additional ways to use this as a market internal on those charts that don't have that access. All right, so anyway, wonderful move to the downside. NQ, really, that was it for the day. PM session had one other setup, not much to mention of. It was really the ES and the YM today. Here was the ES with no setups. Couldn't break that Globex low. Core setup right there, tweeted out. That's it. Long setup upside. Now, if you held on, you might have been stopped out on your entry here, unless, of course, you just kept it all the way back here. But again, trade manager, you just never know where it's going to come back. So you exited, maybe you got back in. But nice move up to the regular trading hours fib projection, and we went a little bit higher there in the PM session as well. So nice move on the morning session. PM session gets a lift. All charts in sync, and that's pretty much where the ES chopped itself out the rest of the day. YM, again, nothing much to speak of in the morning. Hope you didn't get caught on some of these moves downside. The YM just with not a lot of movement there this morning. Again, you have the setup underneath. Solid body tails down. I was watching the AD line. It was pretty flat this morning, and it just wasn't going anywhere. And then eventually, nice move to the upside. If you did enter on the first bar here, your stop would have been down here. You would have been okay on this move as it broke upside again. I would have been watching the AD line, and now, hey, you got the order flow to help you out in those kinds of moves. So there was that first move, pull back into the cloud, still all uptrend as price action held up for the last setup to the upside. All right, let's get into the charts here. As we look at the daily gap, how do we do on the daily gap? Price action, again, opening up downside, but closed out those daily gaps today. So nice move, no open gaps here. NQ had closed out a gap from yesterday. Watching the crude move up to 51.17, an open gap here from the previous session. Again, we're doing this waffle section here, consolidation until crude is able to break the high there, 51.61 or downside. We do have open gaps in both directions. Big picture still upside, so 55.41 is the level that I'm looking for crude to eventually pop to. Take a look at the fib levels. Not able to get that on the Q. Like I said, ES and YM fared much better today. There it is, target high. Again, this is our regular trading hours fib target. Simply take the high to the low up to the 4:15 close from the previous from today's session. Planted on tomorrow's chart for Monday. 50% fib line to the midnight open, and you got yourself some either 24-hour fib targets, or you can use the regular trading hours. Again, this is a chart that's automated, figures it out for me. So that's the beauty of having this on the Sierra Chart platform. All right, let's take a look at some of the charts here. Taking a look at crude today. We saw the indices. Crude not making much headroom here today. Again, not much of a move here. Price action chopping up, downside again. You might have gotten caught here trying to go short, didn't go very far. Long side entry, not bad. Core setup here was a good setup, but again, not the greatest golden setups as all charts in sync. And then crude tried to wiggle its way through the afternoon to the upside, finishing up towards the Globex high with more charts in sync. Again, looking forward to using that order flow in the weeks to come on the GC and the crude. Again, not much to speak about on the gold, as gold just chopped its way out after yesterday's session to the downside. Here you can see, again, if you're not seeing much movement, always feel free to go from a higher time frame. You can go to a 6.3 Flex Renko, which will obviously show a little bit more setups, and even down to a 5.4, which would also give you, but you got to make sure that the charts are not too condensed where you get one bar and, or I should say 10 bars all laid down at once. So not bad on the 5-4 here today, as you can see the spread out of the gold. So pull that back in and you got a little bit better smooth day on the gold as price action pretty much stayed flat even so. And finally, looking at the euro price action again, we can see not much. Again, if the volume's low and we got ourselves on a 10.7, hey, drop it down to a 6.3. If a 6.3 is not working for you and you got some movements to the downside here, you can go to a 5.4, which shows that we had much smoother entries on a 5.4 today. So there you can see nice solid body tail down. Price action not too shabby here. Is seemed pretty spread out over the course of 40 minutes. So nice move to the downside, and then in the afternoon session, euro to the upside recovering. All right, let's take a look at where we are in the daily big pick, because that's where we're concerned, right, for next week. Well, again, tomorrow's price action on any day is not indicative of what happened the previous day. That's this Jedi Trader's belief. No bias on the charts. Just be ready in both directions. That eliminates the fact that when price action turns the other way, you're like, yep, let's go with it. So there we are, price action on the NQ holding upside, still above the 50 MA. I got to go with the uptrend here now. Is NQ still 51.44? Just you can see I got to open that chart up just to see. Yep, there it is, 50 crossed that 144. So we have a confirmed uptrend on the NQ. A little bit of resistance this week, fought its way through. NQ holds up. Would love it if NQ can hold up next week. I'd hate to see this turn down after all this work to get up. So I got to go with the uptrend now, confirmed on the NQ, especially if we're holding up here at the 50-period moving average. But ES and YM's got a little bit struggle here. You can see volume just up to average today, but holding in between the 50 and 200. You can see all this sideways action. And maybe that's where we sit till election time. I don't know. But right now, I still got to stay with the downtrend pullback. But watching next week, we'll see what happens here. If price action can break above the 144. Who's going to help who or who's going to pull down who is yet to be seen. Hopefully, NQ will hold up the ES and the YM. Remember, next week, earnings out. Some key earnings out next week that might lead the market in a different direction. All right. Taking a look at some of the other indices as we take a look here at crude. Crude, I still got to go with the uptrend as it's holding above the 5,200. 4-hour chart still upside. Love the pullback. 1, 2, 3. Still holding with the 50. I mean, no change here on the crude. Still looking at upside. Gold again, struggling a little bit here. Price action crosses over the T350, gives me the green background, but 50 still below the 144, and we're still rejecting here at the 200. So I got to go with gold to the downtrend, but still in a downtrend, a pullback. Wait for if price action breaks that 144 upside, then I will give the confirmed uptrend on gold, and I'll watch for the 50 SMA as resistance. And on the bonds here, price action holding downside, 51.44 gap. Surely as the ES and YM move sideways, reflective gold, crude, and dollar. Bonds still shifting here in the 144. So where's the current trend? 50 is below the 144. That gives me a downtrend, but we are above the T350, so that gives me a pullback. So downtrend pullback, indecision. We're still between the 50. That's right. I still got to pull that 200. I apologize. I meant to do that, so we'll get that done today. But again, the ZN holding right below the 50, and I got to go with the downtrend still on the ZN bonds. All right, wrapping it up. EMD mid-cap 400. Price action holding between the 50 and the 200. Still holding downside, so I got to stick with the downside. Again, 60 euro, no complaints there. Obvious, 50 underneath 200. I'm sorry, 200 still underneath the 50, but price underneath both, and we're still headed into downside next week. 6E again, 6J, excuse me, yen still holding downside in between the 50 and the 200, holding underneath the 51.44. It gives me the confirmed downtrend, but still a little bit of pullback here. So if we get below the T350 here next week, I got to go with the confirmed downtrend once again, and we'll be back in the red on the yen. So if you're following the ETF, nice pullback. And opportunity to watch to see if we get below the T350, definitely moving back downside. All right, headed into next week, economic-wise, price action Looking at a couple red economic action, we're looking for a couple red star events. We have also multiple Fed speakers wrapping up the week in the red on the GDP and any global events as well. All right, that concludes today's daily trend for October 21st. As we roll out the month, feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets. To obtain more information, my training mantra of one simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. Hey, you guys can follow me every day on Twitter at Trading Fibs here. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me on my charts. And as always, leaving my bias at the door when trading. All right, guys, here's the deal. Check out Week 42 recap. Again, taking each day's highlight data and or economic events, posting them there on one page for you. As you can look here, looking at the week one day at a time. Wrong chart here. I apologize. Week 42 recap. That's what I was looking for. There we go. Trend of the week chart. Again, looking for his multiple charts in sync. And again, little video. There's that video I want to tell you about looking at order flow. Go ahead and check that out. Chart of the day. Hey guys, if the chart's too small, just go ahead and click on the chart. You can enlarge that by and then going up and opening the image in a new tab, and then you'll get a nice enlarged picture there to peruse that, or simply download the picture for you as well. All right, there we go. All right, hey guys, have yourselves a Blue Zone weekend. If there's anything I forgot, I'm sure I'll tweet it out. Other than that, have yourselves a good day, a good night, and good trading to you next week.